In 1980, Shirley Soosay's body was found in an almond orchard in California. She had been sexually assaulted and stabbed to death. With no identification, she was considered a Jane Doe, and she was buried. Shirley was a traveler, and from the Samson Cree Nation in Alberta. She traveled to BC and lived there. She mentioned visiting a friend in Seattle. The last time the family heard from her was in 1979. Violet Soosay traveled to BC for decades, looking in morgues and hostels to find her lost aunt. She had no success. Then, in 2020, Violet contacted an American nonprofit called the DNA Doe Project, who tried to find missing Jane and John Doe's families. Since 2017, they have identified over 80 Jane and John Does. She saw a Facebook post from them saying that a Jane Doe from Kern County, California had been traced to the prairies by DNA. The DNA matched her Aunt Shirley. After 40 years, her aunt had been found. In 2012, Winston Charest was convicted of killing Shirley and another Jane Doe in California. Now Shirley's remains have been returned to her family in Samson Cree Nation, Alberta, for a wake and burial. Violet Soosay says she was finally able to fulfill her promise to her grandmother to find Shirley. She spoke to the media outside a wake held in the nearby town of Wetaskiwin.
Most of all today is relief that I'm able to ensure that the promise I made to my grandmother, who is the matriarch on my father's side, that to find her and to bring her home. This is the final step. Finding her was 2 years ago. Bringing her home is today. Today's that final step.
She says she started the search as a young woman and has grown old looking.
It's no more not knowing. It's no more uncertainties. We are certain she's home now, and we are certain that we can visit her gravesite. Even though we know spiritually she's already in with Creator and all our ancestors, we know that.
The funeral for Shirley was held on Saturday. Violet says finding her lost aunt after 40 years means anything can happen.
We lose a lot of our young men, our young women, our girls, our boys, adult men and women. Don't give up. Don't give up, because there is hope. If I can do it after 40 years, with today's technology, there's different mechanisms that can be utilized to find our loved ones. That's a message, don't give up.
Chris Stewart, APTN National News, Wetaskiwin, Alberta.